What's up, guys? Welcome to gwhisky. I'm Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around to the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. If that sounds interesting, hit subscribe down below, and with that out of the way, let's jump into our review. Today we're looking at the AnCnoc 24. Stick around. Alright, so we're getting fancy today. This is one of, if not the oldest whiskey that I've ever reviewed on the channel. But luckily, as far as older whiskeys go, this is one of the more affordable ones. Obviously, we are going to touch on value at the end of the video, but I'm sure a lot of you already know that for something that's 24 years old, the price for this is pretty friendly. Now, we've seen a pretty big surge of interest in this one lately. This was Rob over at Whiskey in the Six's Whiskey of the Year last year for 2023. He's got a great channel, by the way. Go check it out. And even before that, I'd had quite a few requests to review this one. In fact, this review is coming out sooner rather than later at the behest of my patrons because they really want to see it. So it's a hot property right now. So what do we know about this stuff? We know that it's sherried. We know that it's 24 years old. That's about it. I'm assuming it's both bourbon and sherry cask mature, but I'm not sure. I checked their website. They don't say anything about it. Inverhouse in general don't share too much in terms of production details. These are the guys that own Ball Blair, Speyburn, Old Pulteney, and of course AnCnoc. And broadly speaking, they're craft presented whiskeys and they're very, very good whiskeys, but they don't share too much. They'll give you like the general production details, but nothing too specific. Regardless though, AnCnoc is a brand that I love. I think the house style is characterful, it's distinctive, it's well made. The 12, despite having a lower ABV, I think is an excellent whiskey. The 18, also a great whiskey. I've got one on the go right now. I will be reviewing that soon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, the odds that I'm going to like this one are pretty good. 24 years old, of course, is a great age. We can expect a fair amount of like subtlety, complexity, sophistication, all that. But it's also not so old that it's likely to be completely over-oaked or that Leonardo DiCaprio wouldn't date it. So expectations are high here. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into our review. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that would be greatly appreciated. Good specs here. We've got 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, natural color. For looks, I like this bottle. In general, I like the AnCnoc aesthetic. It's clean, it's minimalist, it's stylish, it's modern. So for presentation, we'll give this 5 out of 5. It does say non-chill filtered and natural color. It tells us how to pronounce the name, which is always nice. The back gives us some tasting notes. An extra like production detail or two would be nice, but all the essentials are there and the bottle looks good. I did not add water here. On the nose, we get aged sherry, we get dark red fruits, we get like dark, juicy, fresh cherries. We get raspberries, we get blueberries, we get oak, we get wood spice. We also get Christmas cake, toffee, apple pastries, shortbread, florals in here. There's some honey, there's a little bit of pepper, there's a tiny touch of cumin in here. It's spicy and it's rich. The palate and finish here gives us an oily texture. We get lots of spices and fruit up front. It's a lot of the same fruit that we got off the nose. So it's stuff like cherries, blackberries, raspberries, berry jam, red apples. We also get toffee, we get cola, there's black pepper, plenty of oak, and some florals. We get a medium finish on rich sherried fruits and some prickly spices. So AnCnoc 24 is really nice. This has changed a lot from the last time I tried it. I don't think I mentioned that I've had it before. I have had it before. I liked it back then, and I like it now. In fact, I would say it's better now. There has been a lot of talk lately about how AnCnoc is kind of getting darker, especially in their older expressions. I'd say that's true. That's true of the 24. It's also true of the 18. Again, I'll be reviewing the 18 soon. And the thing is, usually I'm kind of weary about too much cask influence because sometimes that can overpower the distillate. I don't think that's happened here. I think this is how a good forward cask influence should be. The sherry here is full and it's very rich. It does dominate, but it never becomes too much. The oak is kind of the same. We get a lot of oak in this, but it's not over oaked, although it does lean a little bit spicy. So broadly speaking, really good balance here. We're getting a lot of the things, but not too much of the things. And that spiciness from the oak is good. I think it might be a bit much for some of you out there. It is a little bit prickly, but I think it integrates nicely with the general profile, the fruitiness that we get from the sherry cask. So for me, it works. Overall, this is a complex, substantial, and interesting whiskey. And when I say substantial, I don't mean loud. This is not like a sherry bomb. It's not like a cask strength beast of a whiskey. Our flavors are big, but they also leave room for like subtlety, nuance, complexity, all the stuff that you want from an older whiskey. Like, you really could dig into this stuff. You could spend some time and pull out flavors and be all contemplative You could drink this sitting in a leather armchair next to a fireplace. Yeah, you could have had that sort of like pensive, connoisseur, thoughtful moment with this whiskey, or you could just sip it and enjoy it casually with friends. It walks that line where you really could get away with both. It's perfect for both. Because oftentimes the older whiskeys, especially more expensive older whiskeys, which this isn't, but older whiskeys just in general, I feel like I should like slow down and kind of zone in and take it in. And sometimes when you're having a nice older whiskey with your friends, you don't want to do that. You want to chat and still enjoy the night casually. Again, this one's perfect for that. Anyway, I digest. I think a lot of you out there are going to really enjoy this one. I think the only people who might have a bit of a problem here are those of you who are sensitive to like that prickly oak spice. There is some of that in this whiskey, but it's not too much. The rest of you, I think it's a pretty easy whiskey to get behind. I'm not sensitive to that spiciness. In fact, I love a spicy 24-year-old. Wink. So for score, for me, this one is a 90. I think it's a very fine whiskey with a lot going on. I think it's well aged. I think it's well priced, and it just tastes really good. Not to mention the fact that I think it's gotten better over time. So I can't recommend this one enough. So yeah, great stuff. Check it out. Now, before I praise this one for its value, I do want to take a quick second to thank all the patrons and channel members. Guys, thank you so much for your help. And if you want to help out, if you want to help keep the channel financially sustainable and independent, there are a number of ways that you can help. I have both Patreon and PayPal linked down below. Anything and everything helps. And again, big thank you to everyone who already is supporting the channel. It means a lot. Now let's talk value. So obviously I'm going to say nice things about value here. This is one of, if not the cheapest 24-year-old in the market, or at least in my market. And it's one of the good 24 or 25-year-olds. Like 24 is kind of a weird age, but I've had 25-year-olds that are not this good and substantially more expensive. What I paid for it here in Taiwan, this was what? Works out to about 150 US, which should be 120-ish pounds, I think. And for that, I think it's a great deal. I suspect it might be more in your market, but as long as you're not paying much over, let's say 200 US, I'd say you're getting your money's worth. This is a really good whiskey. All right, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to help out the channel, as I said, I've got Patreon and PayPal down below. Also, I do want to hear from you. Have you tried AnCnoc 24? Have you tried an older one, a more recent one? Have you compared the two? What are your thoughts? Let me know all that down below. Finally, down below, you can also tell me what you want to see me review down the line, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.